you said it felt like the representation of an organic movement that could ultimately break us free from the echo chamber we might have been trapped in, and therefore end the emotional twirl and effective cycle of redundancy that too often comes with our emptiness and desperation. And I thought that this was so much depth to that album, and I was wondering if that was something that happened, like that precise consciousness of that thing you just said, if it happened like during the whole process, or was it something that you were chasing during the whole thing, or it just at some point poof, kind of your eyes kind of or heart open regarding that?
That's a good question, because the beautiful thing about this project is the fact that I wasn't chasing anything.
Amazing.
Usually I'm chasing something.
Yeah.
You're chasing your muse, you're chasing like the invisible, you're chasing something that it's like untangible, improbable. It's all those things that, you know, will make something eternal. For this project, I wasn't truly looking for that. And it was more about accepting what I was into, and then realizing, okay, so all the voices in my head, you know, all the things that were kind of hunting me, all those emotions that I didn't want to let myself into, or I didn't want to abandon myself into, like the denials, the refusals, everything, like the frustration, the control I needed. So that was really an expression of a liberation in a way. And that came because when I wrote that, it's now with perspective of what that moment has been able to create within me. So when you're allowing something to create an impact deep within, if you're thinking, if you're trying to make sense of it all, it won't create anything, because it will be like, it's like creating like a table. You know, you can touch it, it's great. You can put stuff in there, and then okay, well then you will paint it and everything, but everything is already organized. You might trick yourself into thinking that, oh, it's organic and it's great, which at some point, you know, might be true, but the reality is everything has been conceived in your head before. It's the construct of your own desire to keep on controlling your own narrative, to feel something. And then part of it is true, part of it is absolutely make-believes. So for this project, it was really like letting go and just say, okay, well, this is the moment. And accepting that I was in my head, it was an echo chamber, and probably even before that was like I was living in a very close type of bubble, when you're always like controlling everything, that you make sense of everything, and then you can keep on exploring in the context of you know, it's just like being blind. Everything is placed, you understand where things are, you know, you can hear, you can define things without seeing. But if I'm changing like the furnitures, and then it's just like, oh, you're confused. So for
sure.
me, it was like that. Every day was like living in a place where
Great.
I didn't know what, you know, everything was upside down.
Yeah, great analogy.
So it's not even like, where's the table? It's more about, am I walking on the ceiling right now?
Yeah.
Or where am I in that whole thing? And it's the nice way to put it was, I was very puzzled, but the reality was like I was freaking out.
Of course. On
So-
every levels, I guess.
So that's why I wasn't really thinking much about the whole, you know, the whole structure of like what it is.
Yeah.
So it was really, okay, well, this is it. Let's see what we have here and make it as pure as it can be. Because before, I don't think I would have paid too much attention to that. I don't even think that I would have like take a moment to record any of this, and let alone like releasing this thing. I would have looked down at this and just said, well, you know, just like it's nothing. When the reality is this is where the hearts beat, you know. This is the soul, if you want. But before that, I would have said like, Ben would have come with, look, listen to that, and it was, well, it's cool. So we can put like this and that and then and then.
Build that
And
whole
then
thing up, yeah.
because you just want to hide this and you want to cover it all, it's there.
Yeah.
But nobody
really,
can
sure.
nobody can really identify it. And then you're stripped down to the bones. The real spirit. There's no place to hide. You know, there's no beat, there's no lyrics, there's no screaming, there's no trumpet, there's no like nonsense guitar. This is like, okay, this is it. And it's so stripped down that it's, even when I was like listening to it after, I was just like, do I really want to release that? Do I really want to share that? What is that anyway? Is there even like, is it even something? And then comes like the measure of what you were before, saying like, oh yeah, what people would say, yeah, I don't think people will like it. It's so not, but it's all bullshit that you keep on repeating yourself like you always did before. Because the reality is, doesn't have anything to do with the other people not liking it. I never cared. So it's not that at all. It's about, do I really want to go to something that is so fragile, so pure, so vulnerable? Is it something that I want to defend in a way, or present, or that's the real thing?
Sure, absolutely. I always like it when, especially with you, I guess because everything you do and who you are is, you know, where, as you just described, perplexity, complexity are really a part of everything you do, and how you pretty much, I'm guessing, envision the world. But sometimes freedom, as you talk a lot in your description, sometimes happens to kind of surprise us, or even throw us even a curveball, exposing a different aspect to it and a deeper sense to it all. Even when you said that you had to trust your instinct and discover what had begun to blossom deep down underneath your limitative worries, but remembering that coherence is about honesty and not about structure. And I thought that this was so much depth and sense to it.
Yeah, it's clear that everything I do, it's the foundation is honesty. And I think it's which angle you're it's like the point of entrance. That's how I see it. It's just like the way I can illustrate it is just like having like if you have a house, whatever, is it like a big one, a small one, doesn't have anything to do with it. But you have a window. So, and depending where you put the window, you will have a different view from inside looking outside, and for people outside looking inside. And I think that complexity comes when you put the window off, and when you're having like a peek inside, and you're just like wondering, whoa, what this whole thing is about. You don't really see what's like beyond maybe like like the walls on the sides, or even like the the door
Yeah, yeah,
is the
yeah.
door closed. For this album, there wasn't any window. It was like a massive open like space where you were able to see inside. It was like open concept, I would say,
Wow.
and open space. And then you can see, oh, okay, there's different colors. There's this. Oh, okay, there's like, oh, I never seen that before. And then you have like the whole view is there. Doesn't mean that it's not complex. Doesn't mean that it's not rich in nuances or layers or in different shades. But you're able to look into it at your own pace, and you're able to discover things without having to guess. Like, okay, well, what's beyond this? Because what you can see usually is the thing that you're the most interested in.
Amazing.
So when you're
That's
having the
beautiful.
better understanding, okay, well, this is it. But then you just let go because your brain or your curiosity is not like focused on the things that you want to discover.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's suddenly it's dwelling into something that it's complete, but you can like still define, because okay, why this color is there? Oh, but what's this frame? What's this picture there? And oh, but why, there's like, it seems like it doesn't fit, that couch doesn't fit with this. And why there's no table or whatever. And then you realize that everything that you think is missing, it's what you need to add to this whole piece. It's like an art form where you're bringing your own elements to like a canvas where there's part where there's no colors or no paint. There is, but you need to add something of your own, and then it makes sense, because it's what I'm presenting. It's based on what I was experiencing at that very moment.
Exactly.
So it's very different. It's a different aspect of honesty. And it doesn't mean when you cannot see it all at first, that it's less honest.
There we go.
It's just like, suddenly you see that, and then you might be looking for a point of entrance, or sometimes there's no doors. You need to find a way to get inside, and then you're exploring, and then the music grows on you. And that's what I like when I'm in different contexts, especially with the band. So then you can discover different things. Say, and that's what I like in let's say in a house where you have like hidden places, and you just like push like a secret button, and then what? You've got like a secret door, and suddenly like you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. There's always something else to discover. You can stay in that room and say, okay, why? Oh, wait a minute, there's so many books. And then you can take one, you can sit there and read the book for a year if you want, or you can like look into them all, or not stop whatsoever to open one of them, because you're still like trying to discover. So why this? Oh, okay, there's like a book with all like picture book, and just like, okay, this is this and this. Oh, but this is not Alex at all. This is like something else, like old pictures. Why? So that's the complexity you're I guess talking about. But when have like for a measure, everything is there.
Yeah.
There's books, there's photo books, there's different colors, there's like frames, art pieces, and all of that makes sense. But you can like flip things, and you can like change depending on your own angle and your, again, the measure, where you are in that environment. When you're outside, you don't see the true nature of that, I don't know, like sculpture or whatever. But when you get inside, oh, it wasn't a sculpture at all. It's
wow.
something else.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you're
yeah.
bringing your own things
I love it.
and you add to it. And most of the time, this is how we're working, especially with Ben. And for me, sometimes he would say, "Oh, yeah, it's very interesting, but you understand that it doesn't, it's like doesn't fit, those two sounds doesn't fit." Me, I would say, "Yeah, but what I hear fits." And then
trusting you.
there's like, yes, but if we want to add something else, then it might be a bit special. And I said, yeah, but that's something we'll figure it out later. And then Ben in his head is like, well, that's the part where you won't have to figure anything else later, Alex. I'll be the one having to deal with that.
There you go.
And I know that if I remove that, you'll know. You're trying to prevent catastrophe, but me, that's the thing that I'm most interested in. I want to see like just like when you have like the crash. I want to see, I'm envisioning the crash of it all. But for this thing, it's just like it's slowly becoming like we're in slow motion, getting in maybe something that won't end up in a crash at all. It's just like
That's amazing.
motion. But usually when I work with the rest of you guys, what I envision is just like the catastrophe coming, the whole crash at the end, where, well, it's been amazing, but we need to destroy it all. So when you're working like that for this project, it's so intimate, so fragile, and it's the crash already happened in a way.
Beautiful.
So it's the step after where, you're just collecting the pieces. And you realize that it wasn't a crash at all. It wasn't a collision. It wasn't there. There's no collision. There's no like accident. It's just like you're just picking like things, and you're just, that's interesting.
That's amazing.
So there's no control anymore into. There's no pressure. It's just like really the purest moment or expression. Just like the first thing you do in the morning without thinking, or the last thing you do before going to bed or whatever, or when you sit and just like have a drink, or you put a vinyl or whatever, you just like pick a book. Just a moment of like pure instinct where you don't think about anything. And this is just you in your own environment, and you're just like, wow, you're just like at peace. Sometimes it's a split second in a day.
Yeah, for sure.
But we don't realize, but that split second is what keeps us going.
There you go.
At least for me it is. That's what I realized through that
Amazing.
project. Yes.
Very powerful, to say the least.